the Party Center Speaks podcast. This is the podcast for family entertainment center and event venue owners, operators, managers, and staffers looking to grow their business. Want to learn more about how you can increase party bookings, improve facility operations, and other topics? This is the podcast for you. My name is Laura Canellas, and I'm the marketing manager here at Party Center Software. In this episode, we're going to share audio from our webinar on behavioral marketing. We hope you enjoy this presentation.
So welcome, guys. We are talking about behavioral marketing today and how to use data to understand and connect to your audience. We have a very special guest today from Redemption Plus. So let's get into that really quick. I guess first, let's not get into that. First, we're going to tell you a little bit about who we are. Chances are you know who we are because you signed up for this webinar, but I'm actually going to have Megan Hawkins jump on here, and she's going to tell you a little bit about Party Center Software.
Hey everybody, welcome. I'm sure a lot of you know exactly who we are, but if you don't, welcome to this so we can share a little bit about us. We offer online booking and facility management software. So in-house reservations, online booking, we do digital liability waivers, management for groups and events. We also do a customer management system as well as employee tracking and financial data, financial reports, etc. So in a nutshell, 10-second talking brochure.
Thank you, Megan. And if you need anything, Megan is your girl to go to, and Courtney as well on our team. We'll do a couple introductions of our team in a minute here. If we haven't met yet, it's so nice to meet you. My name is Rebecca Toomey. I'm the Director of Sales and Customer Success here at Party Center Software. And our special guest is Tabitha Bender. She is the Marketing Manager at Redemption Plus. Thank you for being here with us, Tabitha.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about Redemption Plus, what you guys do and how you work with FECs?
I would love to. So we have been in the industry for about 24 years now. As you can see behind me, we are the ones who provide all of the toys to redeem once you play at the arcade. We also provide interior design services, training, and an awesome customer success team to help all of our businesses, all of our customers reach their goals.
Awesome. And I know you have a couple of team members that you want to mention today, some of which are on this call. So I'll let you do a couple intros there.
Yeah, so this is our customer success team. So who you'll be dealing with if you decide to become a customer of Redemption Plus, or if you are already a customer of Redemption Plus. So Ann Kroll, she's our account manager. Ann Kroll is our account executive. Holly Shope is our account manager, and we all report to the wonderful Mike Tipton, who is our Chief Operations Officer.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for mentioning these beautiful folks here. We've got some members of our team on the webinar. They jump in and out, but if you need us, we're here for you. Love to introduce my team: Megan Hawkins, Courtney Drehos, Megan Campbell. We also have from our customer success team, Eileen Hawkins, Tanya Barnett, and Jesse Conley. So we're going to jump into this webinar. And as we do, I'm actually going to throw a poll out to you guys. So I'm launching the poll right now. And the question is, are you currently using data when creating your marketing strategy? Very simple, yes or no. Are you using data? We want to kind of get a little bit of a gauge to where folks are at in this process as Tabitha starts to talk about this topic. So go ahead and throw those in there, and Tabitha, you should be able to grab those rights as well. We've got about 70% of folks have voted. Jump on here, guys. 75%, 80%. Very good. We'll give it about 15 more seconds. Just jump on and throw your vote in there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm sharing the results. Here's what we got. 68%.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
say yes, they are currently using data with their marketing strategy, and 32% said no. Thoughts
Cool.
on that?
I think, you know, no matter where you are in terms of using data, I think there's always something that we can learn. So hopefully I can provide some good resources for you guys, or new online platforms to get new data and how to digest it. So no matter where you are, if you're using it or if you're not using it, I hope you get something out of today.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So take it away, Tabitha.
Alrighty, I am going to share my screen. Maybe. Here we go. Can you guys see it?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, so this is our roadmap for today. And Rebecca has assured me that any resources or online links that I use throughout the presentation will be in a follow-up email. So don't feel like you have to write everything down as we're going through this. But we're going to talk about why a data-first marketing approach is best, how to get started if you aren't already using data, how to use that data to create content, using interactive connection with your audience, and then proof that a data marketing approach will convert. So to get us started, McKinsey Research did a study, and personalized marketing has a 5 to 8% higher ROI, return on investment, and it can actually lift your sales by 10% or more, depending on how effectively you are using your data. It also takes the guesswork out of marketing, right? So you don't have to worry about if you're sending your social media posts at the right time, or your emails, or if you're targeting the right customer, because all of this data is going to tell you either, yes, this is who to target, or no, this is not who you need to target. And then lastly, it helps you identify your most valuable, so valuable customers who's spending the most money with you, and then also your most loyal customers. So they might not be spending as much with you, but they are coming back more times than just one. So in order to start with the data-first marketing approach, you have to find your data. And I get most of my data from our Google Analytics platform that is installed on our website. So if you have not already done that, I highly recommend it. This is like my marketing Bible. I get everything from Google Analytics. I also want to mention that if you don't know how to use Google Analytics, maybe you have it installed, but you haven't even logged on, you don't know how to use it, you can oftentimes get a free Lynda course subscription through your local library card. And Lynda is LinkedIn's education platform. So you can sign up for an account. There's Google Analytics Basics course, there's advanced courses, depending on where you're at with your knowledge on the platform, and you can kind of go from there. So once you're in it and you've learned the basics, you can figure out, you know, where are the bulk of your profits coming from? Are they walk-ins? Are they birthday parties? Are they corporate events? Are people booking online, or are they walking into your center? Even, you know, what day of the week does your audience most engage with your website, and things like that. So there's so much good information on this platform. If you don't already have it installed on your website, talk to your developer and figure out how to best get it on there. So these are a couple screenshots of Redemption Plus's Google Analytics dashboard. So you can see how we can start to pull some different pieces to create our strategy. You'll see by users by time of day that our website receives the most traffic on Mondays at about 10 or 11 a.m. So because of that, that's why we send our marketing emails on Monday at about 9:45 or 10:45, when people are already organically engaging with our brand. They're already, you know, they already have us in their mind, and hopefully they're already close to making a purchase. Then you'll notice that we have the majority of our audience visit our website via desktop, with about 20% being on mobile. This is interesting because if you've been to Redemption Plus lately, you know that our website is not mobile optimized, and we are working on a new website, but in the interim, this is what we have to work with. So what we did was we actually paired this Google Analytics data with our email platform data. So the platform that we send out our emails through, and that platform tells us that most people are reading our emails on mobile, but then obviously not shopping on mobile. So what we did to take care of that was to actually create a separate mobile optimized landing page where they can shop a little bit easier and then place their order online when they're ready. So keep that in mind as you are analyzing your desktop traffic or your mobile traffic. Is the experience optimized, and are there steps that you need to take to make the experience a little bit better for your customers? And then finally, you can see some of our top performing products. So we use this a lot to figure out, what do we need to highlight in our emails or on social media or in our blogs? And, a way that you could use this is, what are attractions are people most purchasing through your website? Do they purchase things together? Are they purchasing one-off packages, that sort of thing? Okay, so next we are going to talk about demographics versus psychographics. So after you've established who is spending money with you, you can start to dig into what are their motivations and how can your business solve their needs or their problems. So demographics, for anyone who doesn't know the definition, is basically your hard facts. So household income, education level, age, gender, do they have children, how many children, and that sort of thing. And then psychographics are your little bit softer stuff. So hobbies, lifestyle habits, interests, tendencies, do they like to go eat at Chipotle, or do they prefer Qdoba, that kind of thing. So these screenshots are actually from our Google Analytics platform as well. So to get to this, you go to your audiences section in Google Analytics and then demographics overview. And be sure, I always say this, be sure to update your dates because the platform will always default to the week that you're on. And if you're wanting broad data like this, you want to make sure that you're looking at about a year's worth of data. So here you can see our demographics are typically people who are 25 to 44 years old, and they are female. So this can kind of help you craft a face of your customer. What do they look like? And then from there, on the interests tab of Google Analytics, you can start to put a personality to your customer's face. So, what are they into? Do they like going out to eat? Most likely, I'm guessing. What are their technology preferences? What else are they searching for online? And that sort of thing. Okay, another really awesome resource that I wanted to tell you guys about is this platform called Claritas 360 Zip Code Lookup. And it's all provided by Nielsen, which is the big research conglomerate that does all of the surveys. So in this is really cool. You just type in your zip code and you can start to get different segments and learn about the people who live in your zip code. And this is all free, which is super awesome. So for this example, I just typed in Redemption Plus's zip code, and you can see there are 5 segments primarily within our zip code. And from there, you can start to dig into each segment and learn a little bit more about these individuals. So for this purpose, I dug into segment 25. So at the top, you can see a summary. So these are younger families, some with children, some who are just beginning to get married. So you can kind of get an overview of what this segment kind of is about. And then you can see their median household income, that they typically are a family mix. So again, some have children, some do not. They mostly, home in terms of home ownership, some rent, some own their home. They mostly work at a management or professional level, and they are college graduates. And then in the lifestyle and media traits, you can see they own a BMW, they eat at Jimmy John's, they shop at H&M, and they like to play tennis. So again, you can start to see the personality and the persona of your customer and who are these people that you really are targeting. Again, all of this data is free. I will tell you that you can see these grayed out sections to the left of Snapshot. Those are paid features, and you're going to pay a high premium for this data, but I will tell you it's very, very useful if you have the resources to buy it. For example, in terms of the media preferences, if you're planning on ad buying, whether it be radio or TV or even online advertising, you can start to see where you need to invest your dollars. Okay, so now that you understand what your customer looks like and what they act like, you need to figure out who your business is as well. What does your business act like? How do they talk? That sort of thing. So there's a really cool and easy way to start building your business persona. So what we recommend is get your team together and start brainstorming a list of traits that you feel that your business embodies. And from that list, you'll pick the 5 most relevant traits. So again, this will help to start you help understand, what does your business value? Are you playful? Are you helpful? That sort of thing. And include your team, make it fun. When you include your team members, they see your business in a different light than you might. They might bring a different perspective. And it helps give you ownership in your branding and your marketing and that sort of thing, which is pretty cool if you're just a part-time redemption employee, for example. So you'll want to, from your traits, you'll start to craft your business voice and your business tone. So your voice is what you say and your tone is how you say it. I'll read you Redemption Plus's example statements to kind of give you an idea of what you're shooting for if you do this exercise. So Redemption Plus's voice is relatable and customer-centric. It's our priority to provide easy to understand information to an audience focused on other business priorities, and that's change resistant. So hopefully you can kind of start to see that in our marketing. If you do follow our emails or our blogs, you can see that we talk a lot about operational tools and that sort of thing to help your redemption be the best that it can be. So our tone, how we say it, is we're semi-professional, brought to fruition through informal undertones. Our content focuses on how redemption affects the entire ecosystem of a family entertainment business. And then our full persona is we were able to get just 2 words that kind of embody all of Redemption Plus's branding, marketing, salespeople, all of that. And our persona is the helper. So all of our content starts with, how can we help your business achieve its overall goals? I feel like I'm going very fast. So if anyone has questions, please stop me.
No, you're doing great. I was laughing at the demographic eating Jimmy John's though. I was curious about that one.
It's funny because we have a Jimmy John's right down the street.
Maybe, there you go. I was going to say, you guys have a lot of Jimmy John's there?
I've never heard of a Jimmy John's, so.
Like a sub type place.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have not heard of, it just hasn't come to mind in a long time.
Okay, so once you have your business's voice and tone, and the audience that you're working with, you can start to understand how all of these things are going to come to fruition in your own marketing. So, how does your brand voice and tone come through in any of your sales decks, on the phone, and of course on your online marketing as well. So social media, if you do email, that sort of thing. Here at Redemption Plus, we have 3 main avenues for online marketing, so blog, social, and email. And from our voice and tone, we were able to kind of give a tagline for each of those avenues and the goal that it hopes to achieve. So in our blog, we hope to build the framework of an optimized redemption program. So any expertise, any research that we've been doing, that's where we communicate that information. For social,
sorry, Tabitha. I just wanted to jump in and ask a question about this. How would an FEC go about creating their voice and tone? Where would you recommend that they get started when considering this stuff?
So I would definitely start by brainstorming the traits that your business embodies. So what we did here at Redemption Plus is we got a bunch of people from different departments and we just started throwing up words on the wall. So what do you think of when you think of Redemption Plus? And then from there, we start to understand, okay, we value these things, we are these things, or these personality traits. So what are our motivations? And that's kind of where we came to the quote unquote helper as a persona. And that's how our business kind of hopes to be positioned in the industry. That kind of, I would start there.
Okay, that's great. Great.
Okay.
Great.
And so from there you can kind of understand, okay, how do I want my voice and tone and then my overall persona to come to fruition in my other online or offline marketing. Okay, so digging a little bit deeper, we're gonna go back to data again, shocking. So there are tons and tons of industry resources. So industry specific, we talked about the Claritas and the zip code lookup, which is good for, you know, a broad sense, but how does it apply to the industry? So the first resource that I recommend is getting a hold of the IAPA benchmark report. This is a study that they do by surveying FECs every single year. And there's tons, I mean, it's a huge report. It's free for members. I think it's about $500 if you are not an IAPA member. But again, it's a very, you know, extensive report. There's a lot of really good information in this report. From this, me and my team learned that a family actually only averages an FEC visit 2.5 times a year. So from that, we were able to come to the recommendation that, you know, you only need to reset your redemption counter twice a year, since that's all that people are coming to see it. So there's also pricing and packaging information. There's a lot to take away. And then Rebecca also informed me that Party Center Software does a booking study every year. So this comes from their developers, and they, you know, there's data in here like the average age of the guest of honor, who is booking their parties, are they booking online or offline, that sort of thing. So she told me it's actually might be surprising that most parties are booked less than a week in advance and are booked on Monday at 10 a.m. So basically a parent forgets that their kid's birthday is coming up, and then they get into the office and are like, shoot, what am I gonna do for this weekend kind of thing.
Absolutely. And both of those resources are going to be included in the follow-up email to this if anyone would like to view those resources.
Yes, please use them. They're super valuable. So another, again, good way to use your data is to pair your Google Analytics platform and your customer relationship management platform, if you have one, or your CRM. This will help you keep track of your repeat customers. Again, how often are they purchasing, that sort of thing. What attractions can you pair together? How can you upsell your attractions? And this is also a good way to, when you are surveying your customers, or you do have customers who are providing feedback to you, you can put this into your CRM and reference it later. And I will give some CRM recommendations in a couple slides. But another good thing is to utilize something called Google Campaigns. So you do this by attaching a UTM to any links that you use in your marketing. So basically this tells Google that whatever engagement happens on that URL or interactions can be reported to your Google Analytics platform, and you can go back and look at the results. So for example, through Google Campaigns, you can see, you know, the amount of revenue that a social post generated, or the amount of referrals that an email gave to your website, or a conversion number, that sort of thing. So I actually have a UTM builder that I sent Rebecca, and she can include it in the follow-up email as well. It does take a little bit of extra time, because for each link that you use in your marketing, it will need to have its own UTM. Again, it's a unique tracking way for Google to know, okay, all of this interaction on this website or this link needs to be reported to this one campaign. And then think about where you can automate. So especially in the post-coronavirus times, we all might be running a little bit more leaner than what we're used to. So how can you use your platforms to help do the work for you? A lot of times if you have an email platform and or a CRM, you can do some, you know, automated birthday campaigns. So if someone's birthday is coming up, you can send them a coupon in their email, or maybe you want to do a first-time visitor email drip. So someone comes to your center, they give you their email, and then maybe a month later you drop a coupon in their email for an additional visit. And it's really important to remember to take time to not only test, but also analyze what's working and not working, and then update your strategies accordingly. We do this at the end of every month here at Redemption Plus. I look at the month's performance in terms of engagement, revenue that was driven from email, blog, or social, and then compare it to our goals and where we want to be for the next month, and then make necessary adjustments. So it's important to remember that it's not necessarily just a set it and forget it kind of system. Okay, I'm going to pause there again. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions, feel free to throw them in the Q&A or the chat, either one. And I think somebody else, did someone have a question on the panel?
So I can't, oh, maybe I can. I was like, I don't know if I can see.
They're hiding on the top somewhere. Likely.
I don't even know how I can, participants. I don't know. You'll have to help me out.
Yeah, no worries. Nothing has come in.
Okay.
I'll let you know if they do. So feel free,
Perfect.
folks, add your questions as you've got them, and I'll let Tabitha know.
Okay, awesome. So that's a lot of information. So now we're going to talk about, data aside, how else can you connect to your audience on a personal level? So again, it's about humanizing your business and, connecting with the individuals who frequent your business, who like your brand, who are fans of you, that sort of thing, and highlighting those people because they're very important. So the first thing that I personally love when brands do for me is social listening and using user-generated content. So over here you can see, this is a screenshot from an Instagram story. This restaurant, actually in my hometown of Wichita, just opened, and they reshared, someone who was at their restaurant took this picture and posted it to their Instagram story, and then the restaurant reshared, which again, I think is super cool because this not only humanizes the business and, there is someone actually running their social media, it's not a robot. And then number two, as you can see, it also communicates, a business feature that might not necessarily have been communicated before. So here you can see that their kids menu, they do offer a kids menu. It is kid friendly. So before that they were, posting cocktails or the adult menu and that sort of thing. So how else can you communicate your business features through those pieces? And then it's important, Rebecca had this idea the other day when we were meeting, to include language in your waivers, just as a heads up that, hey, you might appear on your social media, on our social media. And then also, you can always gain exposure through shares, which is pretty cool. So if this was my Instagram story and the Belmont reshared my story, I'm probably going to reshare their stories more often because they were fans and they helped me share my thoughts. So it's also important. I talk to so many people, or I hear from our sales team, that, an FEC might have an email platform, or they might be collecting email addresses, but they aren't actually using it. So I think it's super important, if you aren't already, to number one, collect email addresses. You can do this in several ways. Here you can see a screenshot. This is on an FEC's website. The call to action is, a pop-up. You're probably used to seeing this when you're browsing websites as well. It's just a pop-up. It asks for your email, and hopefully there's some sort of something in it for the customer as well for giving you their email address. So for example, a coupon or something on the other end of it. You can also collect them in your sales process. So anyone who is booking a corporate party or that sort of thing, making sure that their email gets plugged in. Of course, on social media, and there's tons of lead gen options. So I highly recommend, if you aren't already doing that, to do that. And then once you collect email addresses, don't just let them sit. So again, we talked about having an automated birthday campaign or a first visit drip campaign, or maybe you want to have a summer party or a theme party and you want people to know about it. And if they come, they can have a free drink or something like that. So just other ways to communicate with your customers. And I promised that there would be CRM suggestions. So the ones that I recommend, MailChimp is super easy to navigate and it's affordable. I've also used Klaviyo and Constant Contact. It's important to note that those are pretty much just email platforms. You can't really get more detailed than just email, maybe in first name and birthday. So keep that in mind as you're going. If you want something a little bit more like a true CRM, I would recommend HubSpot, which actually their CRM portion is free. And then the marketing features that they carry is what the extra cost is. And then Salesforce as well is a wonderful platform.
Tabitha, we do have another question in here too. Are there any text marketing platforms that you would recommend?
The only one that I have experience with is Salesforce. And then I believe, I might be wrong, but I think there are some plugins. If you have a Shopify website, you can have a text platform in there as well. But I will say in my research for this webinar, text marketing is actually growing a lot and it does convert. So thank you for bringing that up. I do recommend putting some thought into implementing something like that.
Awesome. And then we had a comment from Sean. He said she mentioned that the restaurant just opened during COVID-19, looking to start up, but COVID has us proceeding with a lot of caution. Not necessarily a question, I guess, but definitely something that's a concern on a lot of people's minds.
Yes. And I mean, no one knows how to navigate the situation, right? But this is where social listening is very important for your business. I'll give you an example. We actually had a customer of ours who was going to open. And this was, of course, after the state mandated closures had lifted, so they were allowed to open, but they received a ton of pushback from their community on social media. So they actually decided to delay their opening. So whether that's right or wrong, I'm not sure I can offer a recommendation on that, but it's important to at least be aware of what people are saying.
That's a really, really great suggestion, is feel out your audience and see if they're ready or willing to come back. We've seen quite a number of emails with surveys that FECs have been sending out to their customer base to kind of gauge, how do you feel? You know, would you feel during this situation?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And that's a great point too. You know, maybe if you do have an email database, send out a survey. You know, what does it hurt? So, cool. Ready to move on?
Good deal.
Okay, this is an actual screenshot of an email that Redemption Plus sent out. And the importance here to note is the personalization. So you can see, hey Tabitha, my first name is there. So it's personalized. It feels like it's personalized to me. You'll also notice that it doesn't include a lot of like marketing lingo, or there's not a lot of pictures and fancy buttons. So it's very plain. It appears like a salesperson actually wrote this to me. So these emails actually well outperform our marketing emails. And it's just really important to think about how can your business implement things like this. And again, sometimes it's as simple as just including a first name in your email. And also in my research, I found that 92% of companies that personalize their email see a boost in conversion. So again, and Redemption Plus, you know, is this brought to life because these sales emails do much better than our product marketing emails because they feel more personalized. And then also, a lot of times if you do have a Shopify website or a website where you can apply what's called dynamic content, based on either the referral path or even the time of day to give the consumer a little bit more personalized experience, that's also going to heighten your conversion. So I found the example of a website that promotes the lunch menu if it's before, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then highlights their dinner menu on their homepage after 3 o'clock. So again, dynamic content, how can you tailor the experience?
I think I just wanted to mention one thing that we're on it because I think it's great to personalize the email. If you do have a a platform that you're able to do that, but just be sure if you do to have the default plugged in, as in, hey friend, or, whatever it may be, because you don't want to have it have the opposite effect where it says, hey, first name kind of thing. So just be aware of that.
Yeah, and people are like, you don't know my first name? So I agree. And, you're also subject to the data that people put into the platform. So if they put their first name as something crazy, that's what's going to pop up in the email. So be aware of that.
First initial and that's it.
Do what?
I said, or their first initial and that's it.
Yes. So sometimes you can just do like a quick scrub of your list and just scroll down your first names and just kind of see, do these look normal or do they not? And then kind of decide from there. And then again, you've put all this time into creating your brand voice, your brand persona. And so how can you make sure that your user experience is the same across all facets of your business? So, your service rep speaking the same language as someone who's trying to sell a birthday party, or your emails, or that sort of thing. So it's just, how can you give the same experience across all platforms, in your center, in person, and that sort of thing. And at RP, our marketing is very involved with our sales. And, I like to joke that I can write the coolest blog posts on the planet, but it doesn't matter if our sales team, if they aren't using that language, if they aren't using the blog to help our customers manage their accounts. So how can you trickle down your marketing into the rest of your team and what they're trying to achieve on a daily basis? And proof that a data-first approach converts. This was introduced to me a couple years ago, actually. The New York Times, I think this was probably in 2015. They published an article called The Empathy Economy. And essentially what that means is we are in a day and age where people are using feelings to make their decisions on what businesses to go to or to patronize, as opposed to facts, which is what used to be the norm. So that's why humanizing your business, giving your business personality traits, a voice, a tone, connecting to a customer who has a persona that you know about, their personality, their demographics, all of those things are going to help you create an empathetic and more personal connection to your business. So empathizing your economy, essentially. I like to think of, this is pretty typical, but Southwest Air is a great example. These people love that, their customers love this airline because they practice what they preach, transparency, typically in most of my experiences, their airline attendants are very nice, very approachable. They feel like they're friends to me. So that's just that as an example. And then I gave a little tidbit here that 45% of consumers are more likely to shop on a site that offers personalized recommendations. And that goes back kind of what we were talking about with the email. People want to feel like they're being catered to and they want to feel special. And I think that's important. And I think our businesses can all do that. We all have something that sets us apart and, a way that we can help our customer base. So again, that was a lot. I will push it over to Rebecca. Let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Yeah, you definitely went through a lot in a short period. I think folks probably have to digest a lot of it first, right? Before questions come in. But if you have questions, now is the time. Throw them either in the Q&A or in the chat, whatever works for you, whatever is the easiest for you. But I definitely agree with what you were just talking about. People more than ever are making decisions on where to shop, on what FECs to visit, where to go, based on how they feel about it. I mean, I'm gonna pull some of my team in on this. Eileen, can you name a company that you really love and why you love that company? What about it makes you love them?
I love Chick-fil-A. I think they're consistent. They're polite. You never feel rushed, and they always deliver exactly what you ordered, or at least that's my you know, what happens to me. And a lot of times when I go through other drive-throughs or other restaurants, my order's always the one that's messed up. But when I go to Chick-fil-A, I get exactly what I order, exactly how I ordered it, and I get it was my pleasure. You know, so it's training. I mean, they're consistent. Their brand is consistent all the way through, and I just love it.
You gave a really great example, because they're an example of a company that from a corporate level has really intense training. As you mentioned, they are very, very focused on how they train franchisees and then how the franchisees train staff. And they have very specific rules and guidelines that they go by. So the tighter that your rules and your guidelines are, the more specific you are with your employees about those topics, the smoother your business is going to run, right? And you've experienced yourself with this, Eileen, right?
Yes, absolutely, I have. But
you were talking about Anne earlier.
Yes, I personally used Anne for probably 7 years. I would call Anne. I mean, talking about service. I mean, Redemption. She was spot on. I'd call her on my way to work and tell her how much money I had in the budget and what I think. You know, these little army men, I don't need those, but I need. You know what I'm saying? I'd just give her a few as I was driving, and she'd have it ordered together for me before I even got to work, for me to approve, and then it'd be sent that week. I mean, it was phenomenal. I mean, we had a great relationship, but you know, her service and, you know, what Redemption Plus stands for was spot on.
Awesome.
Thank you, Eileen. I was just telling somebody today that I could do that because I had such great backing, you know, with the rest of the company. It's the whole team. I mean, I'm one person, but yeah, it makes my job so much easier to provide everything for you guys. And I heard you say, I think, did you just say she was one of my favorite people? Like, I'm not a foreigner. Can you please rephrase that? Rewind.
She was my favorite person and my only Redemption person I used.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is too funny. You guys are a trip. Well, I guess we don't have any questions from our audience. Cam, did you have something you wanted to throw out there?
I was just going to say that, you know, what we just talked about the company that we like, it relates a lot back to the voice and the tone of the company. You know, we're talking about Chick-fil-A and the training that they have. You know, it's deep rooted in every single experience that you get, and, you know, saying how important it is to give everybody the same experience, which I feel that they do. And just being mindful of your words. You know, they say, how can I serve you instead of how can I help you, you know, implying that you need help versus like, how can I serve you, which means, you know, which takes the indication of like, you know, what can I like do for you? You know, you feel special in that way. And so I think voice and tone have a very big part in the experience that you have with a company.
Absolutely. I want to tell you guys a really fun, quick story. While we're waiting for, it looks like one might have popped up here on the same topic. Years and years ago, many eons ago, I was working in sales for a company, and I kept running against a competitor, this competitor sales guy, and he was good. Man, if I could have hired him, I would have. But he was related to the owner of the business, so, you know, he wasn't going to leave. He was so good. And then one day, my boss says to me, hey, did you know, the reason he's so good is because he got trained by Chick-fil-A corporate. He used to work over at Chick-fil-A corporate in Atlanta. And I'm like, man. And it's just kind of funny. It circled back that I just remember thinking that's why he was so good at his job, because he had such great training. So anyhow, question from the Q&A from Brittany. Do you send both plain messages and more crafted emails, or do you stick to the personalized plain messages more?
It's definitely a mix. We have found, and again, this is over the course of about a year, we were really able to hone in the performance of these emails. We found that it's a mix. So we send our product emails on Monday. That's when most people will place an order. They come in after a weekend, so they want a product email with recommendations. We send also a personalized email follow-up on Tuesday. Hey, not sure if you saw my email or the email that went out. Here are some cool items that you might think about ordering this week. So it's a balance. I kind of go back to my point about testing. Test what works. If one is working a little bit more than the other, maybe place a little more emphasis on that one, but start with a balance and kind of go from there and see what works.
Great advice. And let's see, any top tips for Google Analytics? If I focused on one area using analytics, which would be most important in your opinion?
So when I'm logging into GA, Google Analytics, the first tab that I go to is the acquisition tab. And this is going to give you a breakdown of where people are coming to your site from. So from social, from email, from blog, that sort of thing. And you can get a quick snapshot on how much money and how often those items are converting. So that's kind of where I stick to if I'm just really quickly needing to go somewhere. You can get a pretty good snapshot of your marketing really quickly. But always make sure that you set your dates. So it defaults to the current week that you're on. I typically like to look at about 30 days worth of data.
Awesome.
And Rebecca, on that same topic of Google Analytics, I just want to let our customers know, if anybody that has our software, if you've got a Google Analytics number, we can put that in the back, or if you even dive further and do Google's Tag Manager, we can put that in the back of your software so that you can run different campaigns using that Tag Manager, and it'll pull the information from your online booking. So just let us know if you got that, or if you want your marketing agency to talk with us, we can definitely talk with you and get it put in the back end of your software.
Thank you, Eileen, for mentioning that. And Eileen would love to help you do that, so let her know. Or Tanya or Jesse. Our team's awesome. All right, let's see. We got one more pop up in here. How do you use testing in emails? How long do you test?
Oh, it kind of depends on what we're deciding. So if we're picking out the day of the week, obviously we kind of do that by a weekly basis. We'll do it the same time for 4 weeks in a row and then just kind of see what better performed. But sometimes it's also testing the type of content that does well. So again, you just want to make sure that you're doing one thing the same for enough time that you can understand how that performs. We typically do about 4 weeks, but it does kind of depend on what you're testing.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any feedback or have any topics you'd like us to discuss, please be sure to email marketing@partycentersoftware.com. This podcast is a weekly podcast, so you can expect new episodes every Thursday. Party Center Speaks is powered by Party Center Software. We are a facility management tool that helps family entertainment centers and event venues book more parties and manage their facilities. We also offer marketing services such as custom website design and marketing automations to help you expand your reach and grow traffic. If you'd like to know more about us, head over to partycentersoftware.com and be sure to give us a follow at Party Center Software on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and at Party Center Soft on Twitter. Until next time, thanks for listening.